Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another week's episode of Knockout Bets Podcast, brought to you by Recliner Sports Report. I'm Mac, and with me, as always, is Andrew. Andrew, how has been your first week of unemployment?
It's been good, man. I'm lucky in life to have worked long and hard for a long time and have a little bit of savings to fall back on to have some unemployed time and not be in too much trouble, sending out job applications and this, that. I don't know what the lighting is that's going on in my room. I look like I have giant bags under my eyes, but I actually feel okay. I'm not sad. I'm not even tired. I'm not anything. So I don't know why I look like that. I'm not stoned either. Like, I don't know why I look like that, but that's how I'm going to look for this show.
Well, I think you look great, buddy. So don't worry. Don't worry. You look fine. You look fine. Well, I'll tell you what better way to kick off your first week of not working than that fight this weekend with Nate Diaz and Tony Ferguson. And I do want to add one thing before we get into last week's fights. Andrew correctly predicted exactly what was going to happen in the Holland Kamzat fight. That was a literally, like, go back, check the TikToks, check the podcast. Literally called that it was going to be ground and pound or submission finish first round. So I hope you all took those first round finish bets. I know those paid off very, very nicely for anyone who took those. I think with that one, I mean, I'm curious to hear your thoughts, but I know mine is that played out exactly how I feared it would play out because I was on the Holland side of it. But I think that there's no questions there. And I love how even Dana White was like, if anyone predicted that, I don't know how you can predict. Well, what do you mean how I can predict that? That's how he does
How
every
can you
single fight.
right,
He does every fight.
exactly.
What do you
Like,
mean? I
I
can't
don't
predict
even
it.
feel like I called anything special there. Like, that's what Hamzat does to everybody, and we all know that Kevin Holland doesn't have very good takedown defense and doesn't have very good defensive wrestling.
It's just the truth.
I don't think it's
And he
like I
said it
called
too. He said,
anything wild.
Kevin
Like,
Holland even said, my family's worried about me because I can't wrestle very good, but screw it. I'm still going to go out there. Like,
and the biggest thing with that one is just the controversy afterwards is like, did he shoot the initial takedown when Kevin Holland was going for a glove touch, and did he do like a fake glove touch and go for the takedown and do something dirty there? I don't know. It's hard to say. I think, whether he did or didn't do that, it's hard to say because he does do a fake jab takedown, but he was pretty far out. Like, so was it dirty?
it is
Doesn't matter. They got in a bunch of scrambles.
yeah.
He would have taken him down and done the same thing anyway. So did he get the first takedown off a fake glove touch? Maybe, maybe not. It's hard to say. But
Again, with those things though, you always go back to this is the MMA, man. This is UFC. You got to be prepared to fight at all times. And that's just the way it is. But it's funny to say something like that because then you go and you watch the Nate and Tony fight and those antics in that third round of Nate at one point walking away and being like, no, man, I ain't
dude,
chasing
I
you
thought he
around.
was just gonna quit. I thought
I
he was
did
gonna
too.
quit. I thought his leg got kicked to death, and I thought he was gonna say, "Fuck this, let me go get paid to box Jake Paul where nobody's gonna kick me in the legs."
Yeah, and I think that was just classic Nate being Nate. And I think for him, that's part of his game plan is just. And I'll tell you what I did. I was like, oh my God, Nate, you better not quit because Nick quit one of his fights again. He recognized there was no way he was going to continue. And sometimes as UFC fighters, you have to be able to recognize that, and much respect to him because I'm not in the one getting my leg kicked. But I think it was because he was getting sick and tired of chasing Tony around. Every time he punched Tony just turned his back and ran away. And he's like, screw this, man. I'm done chasing you around.
Right.
Like, yeah. And then he started, hanging on the cage, throwing air. I just thought it was a classic Nate Diaz fight, and it was finished with the classic Nate Diaz submission with the flex on it. I don't know else if you saw my post though, but did you know what time the fight ended at?
Nah.
2 minutes and 9 seconds. 2:09.
Okay, there you go. Stockton 209.
That is pretty cool. Again, there's no way to tell if they definitely didn't do it on purpose, but I'm thinking
209 of the fourth round.
Right. Yeah. Like that was it was epic. But yeah, what were your thoughts on it? I thought it was a good fight. I thought it was exactly what
the
fans
thought
wanted.
It was a good fight. I thought it totally proved that Tony Ferguson is washed, that he's old, and that it's you know, should he probably retire? Yes. Does he need any more brain damage and punches to the head? Absolutely not. Can he continue to have a career? Of course he can. I mean, like, look at somebody like Jim Miller. Um, Jim Miller is not a top 5, not even a top 10 guy, but he's hanging out as a gatekeeper, having fun fights against other veterans, and every once in a while testing young guys coming up. So can Tony hang around? I mean, obviously he's 38 years old or something like that. He's not going to hang around forever, but can he have 2 or 3 or even 4 more fights that are just fun fights? Yeah, I guess he can, especially if you put him in there with some guys that are grapplers and not necessarily going to take his head off like Michael Chandler did. So yeah, I mean that didn't look like the Tony that won 12 fights in a row. I thought, both guys were tough. It was a fun fight. You could tell they were both having fun in the fight. I mean, Nate does this thing where he tags you and then he points at you afterwards. Or, there are times where he'll get hit and he'll acknowledge it. Like he has fun in the cage in every fight. And you could tell that Tony was loose and having fun in the fight too. So
yeah,
that was super fun fight to watch.
Yeah, it was great.
Couple other ones from last week that I think are worth mentioning. We already talked about Hamzat and Kevin Holland. So moving on down, poor Li Jianliang. Dude didn't get to wear his suit to the press conference.
Robbed.
He had to fight a guy that was 10 pounds heavier than him on one day's notice, and he won the fight. I thought he won round 1 and round 2. I thought he won the first 2 rounds. I gave Rodriguez the third, but I thought Lee had the first and the second. Like, what a shitty week for that dude. He won the fight and he got robbed after all the stuff that happened to him all week. So yeah, I mean, he was supposed to have a fight where he was a -2 something favorite in a co-main event against a name like Tony Ferguson. Like, the UFC owes him something. They got to set him up with something. I don't know how they could put him in a better spot than fighting like old wash Tony Ferguson in a co-main event, but they got to figure out something. They got to find some big beatable name for him to get in there with. And then on top of everything else, he also lost his spot in the rankings to Rodriguez after getting robbed in the fight. So
robbed.
Like,
it was
what could possibly go worse for Lee this week?
I felt so bad for that man. So bad. He was the MVP of the whole card, and that man got robbed. I agree with you 100%. 100%. My other one to talk about is Barnett, baby.
There's so many on this fight that are worth talking about. I mean, what a sloppy heavyweight fight, but like what a hit for you on your bet. Congratulations.
I wrote that thing off. I was like, dang,
he should have been dead like 2 or 3 different times in the first round. Collier clearly gassed himself out going for the finish in the first round, just had nothing left in the second round.
Nothing.
And, we would have maybe thought, based on past performances, that Barnett would be the guy that would have nothing left in the second, but he obviously had it. I mean, he's so much fun. How could you not like Chris Barnett's personality, the speech he gave after the fight, the stuff that came out during fight week about what he's been going through in his personal life, just the character and the happy personality that he is despite all that. Like, how could you not love Chris Barnett and be happy for him winning?
Right. I loved every second of it.
100%. And then I think it's also worth talking about a couple of more before we get into this week's card. Jailton Almeida, that dude is going to be a problem. He did what he was supposed to do against a guy who's not that great on short notice, finished him in the first round, but the technique that he showed with his grappling was super, super impressive. I think he's going to be a top 10 guy within the next year. Just has to get the fights to prove it. I think it's time for him to get somebody, maybe not a ranked guy quite yet, but somebody who's in that like 15 to 25 range who can, if you win that fight, then you fight a ranked guy next. I think it's time for him to move up and get his tests. I thought Julian Erosa was extremely impressive. I think he put on a career best performance in that fight, and definitely showed out against Tawadu. And then the other two, I mean, it was really a fun main card. I mean, you had Johnny Walker with the submission. Nice to see him get back on the winning track. He's a fun personality and a marketable guy, and I think the UFC is better off when he's winning than when he's, becoming the meme of the thing out front of a what am I blanking
Wacky
on?
inflatable arm flailing
The
2-man.
auto dealership or
Yep,
whatever.
the wacky inflatable arm flailing 2-man.
Yeah, exactly.
From Family Guy. Wacky inflatable arm flailing 2-man.
And then you also had on the main card Aldana getting beat by Macy Chasson for most of the fight, and then she catches an up kick to the liver. I'm pretty sure that was the first one ever in the history of the UFC.
I was so
up
disappointed.
kick to the liver like that, because that was such a strange ending to the fight. And then you go back and see the replay.
I had big units on Macy on that one. I was devastated on that. I had
Aldana in one parlay, so I had her
to finish. I had her to finish out a 4-legger that was just devastating to lose. That was going to be paying some big. It was like plus 2,000 on the odds on that one, and it all came out of that, and I was so bummed.
That's right, because you had Barnett and
I had Barnett, somebody else. I had Walker, Barnett, and Macy, and all I needed.
Walker and Barnett.
All I needed was that, man. That was it. Just it was devastating for sure.
That's tough. That's tough to lose one that way. I mean, it's as a fan, it's a cool finish because you've never seen anything like that happen before. So it's interesting in that way. Like you never when you think of up kick knockouts, you think of somebody that just up kick clean to the chin. Even those there have been very, very few of in the history of the UFC, but there are a handful of them.
Well, awesome, man. Well, let's get right into this week's, just because we don't want to run out of time here. But this week we got a Song Yadong main event. I love it. Song Yadong versus Corey Sandhagen. I think this line is set perfectly. I think it's going to be a great fight. I think that this is these two are it's going to be a fun matchup. But the fights that we're going to talk about tonight, the first one we're going to talk about, our boy Damon the Leech Jackson versus Pat Sabatini. Andrew, give me your first thoughts on this one.
Yeah, I mean, so this is going to go one of two ways. It's either going to be an absolute wrestler grappler's delight, because that's both of these guys' strengths, or their wrestling and grappling is going to cancel each other out, and we're going to see two wrestler grapplers box for 3 rounds or until somebody gets stopped. But I don't think either one of these guys is likely to knock the other out. Sabatini, very, very good wrestling, moves so well and flows so well on the ground. Great grappling to top control, incredible. Relentless pace and pressure with his wrestling. He has solid striking. It's actually okay, but he doesn't use it. He just relentlessly goes for the takedowns. So I think if we do, see them stuffing each other's takedowns and do see a striking battle, it's going to be very interesting to see how Sabatini's striking shows out in that kind of a fight. Damon the Leech, we know him, grappler, can snatch something from anywhere. He can also throw hands a little bit. I think if we do end up seeing a striking battle, I think we'll see Jackson with a little bit of higher volume. I think we'll see Sabatini with the more power and the heavier shots. Jackson, though, because he is such a great grappler, he is willing to accept the bottom at times, and you cannot do that against Pat Sabatini. If he gets there, even against a world-class grappler like Damon Jackson is, Pat Sabatini on top is so good. He's very likely going to keep you there for, if not the entire round, several minutes, enough to win the round. Damon Jackson also doesn't have excellent takedown defense, which is got to be a little scary for him. And like I said, accepts the bottom, accepts being on his back sometimes. I am leaning towards Pat Sabatini in this fight. I think he's going to have a strength advantage, and I think he's the better wrestler. And I think, Damon Jackson's grappling is so good, but I think Pat Sabatini's wrestling is going to make the difference. And I don't see Sabatini being able to submit Damon Jackson because of how good Damon Jackson's grappling is. So I think the bet here might be, and I haven't put this in yet, and we're at Thursday night, so I got to make a decision soon, or leave it alone. But I think my bet most likely is going to be Sabatini by decision.
All right, I like that.
But I'm a little scared of it because I think we could see a striking battle. And if we see these two dudes just kickbox each other the entire time, I have no idea who's going to win that type of fight.
I see Damon Jackson by submission. That is what I'm seeing. I think Sabatini's a tough dude. But you know, the last couple fights, Damon's done a great job. So I like where he's trending. I also love the plus money that I'm seeing right now on that line. So I'm going to be rocking on the Leach side on that one. And I might even sprinkle, Damon by submission, just try to ride that again.
You can get, wow, that's actually a really good number. Whoa. I might actually have to figure out, let's see. I'm going to look at something here. I am so surprised. So I'm seeing I'm using Best Fight Odds to find these odds. Bet Rivers has plus 950 on Damon Jackson by submission. That's a pretty crazy number.
Yep.
If there is a way, let's see what Sabatini by decision is, if I can find that quickly. Sabatini by decision, I can get plus 133. So there's maybe a play there where you play both of those, and those seem like the two most likely outcomes. If you play the Sabatini decision plus 133, and then hedge it with a tiny little bit of Jackson by sub at plus 950, that might be a good angle to tackle the fight kind of both ways, where you can guarantee yourself some money as long as one of those two things happens.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Right. But yeah, I like that. I like those odds.
Then we'll see, some kind of head kick knockout from either guy. And both bets are down the toilet. But
that's like when you bet black and the greens hit on roulette. You got half your bet on red, half your bet on black, and then greens hit. That's just what that's like. All right, the next fight we got. Oh, this one's gonna be a dangerous fight. We got Gregory Rodriguez versus Chidi Njokuani. I messed that one. Njokuani. Chidi Njokuani.
I think that's how you pronounce that. I'm probably messing it up too.
Tight lines for some tough dudes. Give me your thoughts on this one.
Dude, I don't know what to do with this fight. I think I have an idea, but I might just end up watching this fight as a fan and passing on it from a betting perspective. There are so many different possible outcomes. Like you mentioned, both these guys are absolutely dangerous on the feet. They both come to do harm, to put you to sleep. Both have huge power on the feet. RoboCop strikes really well. He's super technical. He has solid takedown defense. He can get hit a little bit on the feet and has been rocked a couple of times, but always comes back from it so far. He also has shown later on in fights, like talking about the third round and later in the third round, to have small gas tank issues, but nothing huge. I do think he will have a wrestling and grappling advantage in this fight. And I think if he goes to that gives him a very solid path to victory. But he might just want to stand and bang. I mean, that's what we've seen him do in most of his UFC career so far. He wants to slug it out on the feet. And doing that against Chidi is dangerous. We've been seeing Chidi knock people out left and right. He's really taken a step forward in his career. I mean, he was losing to guys in Bellator that were, I mean, they're not guys you've never heard of, but they're not guys that are going to blow the doors off of any division by any means. So definitely a later career resurgence for Njokuani, which is interesting to see. He throws with speed and power. He can be a little bit lower volume at time. He also has pretty good takedown defense that he's shown so far. I am leaning ever so slightly to Rodriguez just because I think he has the wrestling and grappling advantage. But I also don't trust that he's going to use that advantage. I think he might want to stand and bang. And if we see these two dudes stand and bang, I mean, you can play under 2.5, but that's like minus 200 something. You could maybe play under 1.5, maybe. And you're getting small plus money on that. Like, it's not even a number I love. You can get plus 110 on under 1.5 with these two guys. Like, very likely that somebody's getting finished at some point, but really hard for me to feel good about making a prediction of which way it's going to go. For the purpose of the show, I'm going to pick Rodriguez, but I don't have a bet yet, and I'm not sure if I will or not.
Oh, man. This is another one we're going to have to be opposite on. I'm going Chidi by knockout all day on this one. This dude is
I don't hate that.
He is on a hot streak, and he is coming with fist of thunders. I think Gregory Rodriguez is as tough as they come, but I think Chidi's going to catch him with something. I see, again, I think, both men have clear paths to victory, and both men have finishing power on the feet because they're both strong. But I'm liking Chidi on this one. I think he's making his name known. I think he's quickly going up and making it known that he can be a top contender. And I think I see him adding another one. He's on a 1, 2, 3, 4 KO win streak right now.
Yep.
Let's make it 5, baby.
I don't hate that angle at all. I do think the very most likely way that Chidi wins this fight is by knockout. I think that's definitely his most likely path in my mind. If we go to decision, I think that really could go either way. Might come down to like who has more gas in the third round and who wins the third round if we go to decision. But if Chidi wins, I definitely think knockout is the most likely way.
All right, that brings us to our last match of the night, the main event. We have Corey Sandhagen versus Song Yadong. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, my thoughts on this one are that Song Yadong is going to be a presence in this division for a long time. Dude is still only 24 years old.
Yep.
He's going to be around for a while. He might have 7-8 years of hanging out in the top 10 in this division left in front of him from now. That being said, I think Corey Sandhagen is elite right now. I think there's an argument that he won the fight against TJ Dillashaw. Dillashaw is obviously about to fight Aljo for the belt coming up here soon. Sandhagen also had an absolute brawl with Peter Yan. I do agree that he lost that decision, but the performance he put on there was extremely impressive. You're talking about Dillashaw and Peter Yan. Those are two of easily the top 5 in the division, and both guys that are former belt holders. Sandhagen is extremely high volume. He's accurate. He throws combinations. He moves well. He uses all 4 of his limbs to strike. He uses all 4 limbs to strike to different parts of the body on his opponent. He has good leg kicks. He goes to the body well with his kicks and his hands, and then of course comes up top at the right times too. He's got great cardio, solid takedown defense, and a good get-up game when he does get taken down. Just a really well-rounded fighter. He's also tall for the division. He's going to have a 2-inch height advantage in this one over Yadong, which he usually has a height advantage. He's also going to have a 3-inch reach advantage, which I think is going to be a little bit of a key. Like if he can stay a little bit to the outside and keep things at range, I think that'll play to his advantage as well. Song Yadong, like we said, he's 24 years old. This is his first main event, so it's his first 5-round fight. He is super technical on the feet. In the pocket, he is incredible. He throws really hard. He's got a solid jab, crisp, clean striking, good leg kicks, and he can mix in the takedowns too. And he uses his striking to set up his takedowns really, really well. He doesn't go to the takedown a whole ton, but when it's there wide open for him and needs it to win a round, it's definitely something that he has in his back pocket. My opinion, and this is not my most confident pick on the card, on the whole card, but this is my most confident pick out of the 3 fights that we're talking about tonight. I think Sandhagen is just at a higher level right now. I think Yadong will get to the top of the division, will fight for a title one day. I don't think it's going to be a continuation on from a win in this one. I think Sandhagen is maybe a little bit underrated because he has lost his 2 fights, even though he's lost to former champions. And I just think that right now, that barring some kind of, clip KO from Yadong, that if we're going 5 rounds in this one, to be that decision. Do I have you there, Mac?
I got you. You still there? Internet.
Yeah, I hear you.
I like it. I think the level of competition that Sandhagen has fought speaks volume. I think Sandhagen has gone the distance with some of the best guys. So I'm seeing Sandhagen win this one. I would say it's probably going to go the distance. I don't see a finish here. So I definitely could see Sandhagen taking this one. But again, Song Yadong's real powerful. I could also see Song Yadong with a finish, but I'm really liking Sandhagen on a decision on this one. I think this to go the distance with Sandhagen winning by decision. I think that's the angle to look at for this one.
Yeah, we're on the same page for this one. Sandhagen by decision.
Awesome. All right, that takes us to our knockout bets of the night. What we got, buddy?
Yeah, this was a hard card. I did actually do my homework a little bit before the card, so I'm not just picking off of a list right on the podcast like I do a lot. The one to get him in the second round.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna go with Cheaty by KO. I'm liking that one. That one's my knockout bet for the night.
That's a solid pick. What do you have for a lottery ticket?
I messed this one up. Dang it. Unprofessional. Let's pull up one. You go first.
All right. Well, if you want me to go first, I will say I am having a super hard time finding any significant underdogs on this card that I like, even at a lottery ticket level. I do, like I said, I lean Gregory Rodrigues. He's like plus 105. I consider that more of a pick'em price than even being a really big underdog. Bill Algeo, I also like. You can get him at plus 110. I don't even really consider that to be much of an underdog. There are a lot of fights, I think, this week that I'm going to be staying off of just because I don't like where the lines are at. But in terms of picking underdogs to win, it's really tough, man. I mean, one thing to look at would be like maybe a Louis Kosei first round KO as a lottery ticket bet. Trying to see what the odds on that would be. So you can get that at plus 950. I don't even think he's going to win the fight, but I think if he does, it's by first round KO. You can sprinkle in, I mean, this again, like, is not even that great of a line, but like Jillian Robertson by sub seems pretty good, and you can get that at plus 165. So I mean, I'm going prop hunting, I guess, is what I'm saying, to find a lottery ticket bet. There are
I
no
love it.
underdogs that I'm gonna say, like, I'm not gonna say, that I think, Cameron Van Camp is somebody who I'm gonna pick, or Kosei or Trey Ogden. Like, I see this, a lot of these being past fights from a betting. But yeah, I mean, I think if you for a lottery ticket, if you go something like Jillian Robertson by sub, Kosei by first round KO, and then maybe find one third thing to put in with that, you can bump yourself to some nice lottery ticket odds.
All right, I whipped it up. Here we go. Here's my 5-teamer for you. We got Damon Jackson, Chidi, Sandhagen. This one's scary. I don't like it. Aspen Lad and Javid Basharat.
That is scary.
That that is, you said that is very scary.
I'm with you on Basharat. I would be so scared.
Aspen Lad has let me down.
Like, how take her out and just ride the other 4?
Yeah, I should. I probably will. But that's looking at plus 1,700. So I'm liking that. So I'm gonna sprinkle a little bit of that on there. That's my lottery ticket. All right.
Get a lot. Well,
All right.
We got like 7 minutes, it looks like, left here.
I know my laptop's about to die.
Shameless promotion time, right?
Yes. Very quickly though. Yeah, my laptop's about to just crush myself. This is it, people. This is what it's like when you're unprepared. All right.
You don't have a charger around?
Not now.
Anyway.
But everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. Again, remember, we have our Cruising for Canines cruise coming up next Friday, September 23rd in Salem, Mass. All proceeds going towards Northeast Animal Shelter. We have some amazing sponsors. We have sponsors from Longboards, Shoebies. We have a 10-fight pass from Everyone Fights over in Saugus. We have some local animal shelters have given or local animal, like food, pet stores have given out some dog treats and some stuffed animals for you to win for your loved pets, your little furry
New England
friends.
Dog Biscuit Company is a significant sponsor.
Yes.
Make sure to mention them.
And Zion Lutheran Church in Fort Myers, Florida, not even in Massachusetts, but they're helping out all the way down in Florida. So thank you all so much. Again, tickets are on sale. Please let us know if you can make it.
MahiCruises.com.
MahiCruises.com.
MAHI Cruises.com.
Get your tickets today. So that way we can see you all Friday. It's going to be food. There's going to be some casino games. There's going to be raffles. There'll be music. There'll be drinks to purchase on board. We hope we can see you all there next Friday, September 23rd.
It's all on a sunset cruise. Like, what could be better than that? What could,
nothing,
like, this is
literally
gonna be so fun. Like, I know we're trying to, do shameless self-promotion of the event that we're doing. This is a charity fundraiser. All the money is going to help out furry friends in need. It's gonna be a sunset cruise with booze and food and music. Like, this is going to be so fun. I'm so looking forward to it myself. I want everybody to come who's listening to this right now, because I think you're going to have a ton of fun. I know I'm going to have a ton of fun. I'm super looking forward to it.
So pumped. Can't wait. Please hope to see you there. Let us know if you can make it. Go on MahiCruises.com, buy tickets today. Thank you all again for all your support. We love you all. This has been an amazing ride. We're finally being able to do what our mission is, which is to help others in need. So thank you all, and please tune in next week, and remember to
keep the change.
Peace.